Hello, and welcome to another enlightening episode of Health in the Hustle. I'm your host, Larry Allen, author of A Guide to Healthy Living. Today's episode is one many of you have been waiting for. We're diving deep into a question on many minds. Why aren't doctors telling us the truth about natural healing? And to help us unpack all of this, I'm joined by the wonderful and insightful Lindiwe, wellness advocate and herbal health educator. Lindiwe, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much, Larry. It's always a pleasure to be here and share this space with your audience. This topic is dear to me because so many people are suffering, not because healing isn't possible, but because they're just not getting the right information.
Let's start with something simple but powerful. Why aren't doctors telling people to take magnesium instead of stool softeners that dehydrate the bowel?
That's such a good one. Magnesium not only helps you go naturally, but it also supports muscles, nerves, and heart function. Stool softeners treat the symptom, not the root cause, and can actually worsen dehydration. Yet magnesium is overlooked. Why? Well, it's cheap. There's no profit in it.
Now here's a big one for me. Why don't doctors suggest changing your diet for indigestion or heartburn instead of handing out Prilosec and antacids like candy?
Yes, that drives me crazy. Long-term use of those drugs can lead to nutrient malabsorption, colon cancer, and osteoporosis. Meanwhile, simply removing trigger foods and healing your gut lining can work wonders. But again, it's not profitable.
And what about herbs? Things like ashwagandha have been used for centuries, yet most doctors won't even mention them.
That's right. Herbs can support healing in powerful ways, from reducing stress to balancing hormones and detoxifying the liver. But doctors are trained by a system deeply influenced by pharmaceutical companies. Their education isn't focused on prevention or natural healing.
Let's get into the environment. Why don't doctors suggest lowering toxic chemicals in the home for people with chronic headaches or allergies?
Because again, they're taught to diagnose and prescribe. But household fragrances, synthetic cleaners, and even some cosmetics build up toxins in our cells. Reducing toxic load can drastically improve symptoms.
I also read that grapefruit can naturally lower blood pressure. So why don't doctors say that?
Because grapefruit interacts with a lot of meds, especially blood pressure ones. It shows how effective natural foods are, but instead of using them to heal, they're framed as dangerous when mixed with prescriptions. Truth is, they could replace many of those prescriptions.
Now let's talk about activated charcoal. Why aren't doctors recommending it for bloating, food poisoning, and detox?
It's so effective. It binds to toxins and helps eliminate them from the body. But again, it's natural, cheap, and not patentable. So it doesn't get airtime in medical training.
I'm also wondering why herbal teas and probiotics, which boost digestion, immunity, and energy, are so rarely recommended.
Probiotics are foundational. A healthy gut means a healthy brain, immune system, and skin. But we're taught to treat the effects, allergies, fatigue, depression, instead of supporting the cause.
Why don't doctors create lifestyle plans for patients instead of just prescribing pills?
Because their model isn't designed for that. It's about managing illness, not creating wellness. Lifestyle change isn't a quick fix, but it's the most sustainable one.
Let me ask the big one. Why aren't we taught to stay healthy before we get sick?
Because prevention doesn't pay. There's no profit in a healthy population. Curing isn't the goal, treating is. And unfortunately, that means millions of people are kept dependent on pills instead of being empowered with knowledge.
That's powerful, Lindiwe. And it leads us to this truth. Healing is real. Healing is possible. But it starts with questioning what we've been taught and reclaiming our right to wellness.
Exactly. We're not broken, we're just misinformed. And the good news is we can take control, we can learn, we can heal. The body wants to heal. We just need to stop getting in the way.
That's it for today's episode of Health in the Hustle. A huge thank you to Lindiwe for being here and sharing so much wisdom. If this episode sparked something in you, please share it with a friend, subscribe, and leave a review. And remember, real health starts with real choices. Until next time, stay well, live well, I'm Larry Allen. Take care.